Homo Deus by Yuval Harari. Look, I haven't finished it. Okay, now I've been talking about a lot of great books. Now, Homo Deus, look, a lot of people I've talked to have said that they thoroughly enjoyed Homo Deus. I, on the other hand, not a huge fan. Now, I loved Sapiens. Now, the reason I haven't talked about Sapiens yet is because I've done a whole podcast on Sapiens, which you should go listen to. It's a brilliant podcast. Not a brilliant podcast, but I don't want to be arrogant, but it's a good podcast. Which you can find on SoundCloud, on iTunes, whatever. I don't know. Grant Loxton is what it's under. GrantLoxton. Although, the problem with Homo Deus is that I've always been skeptical of people who try and put clear light on the future. And I don't think that he's particularly assertive about, the way in which it will turn out. I think Yuval Harari is incredibly transparent about, his own naivety, the fact that, no one's ever predicted the future, you know what I mean? And, obviously some people have predicted some things to be the case. Although, the truth is that the reason why I'm skeptical of it is that no one 500 years ago, or 100 years ago, no one 100 years ago predicted, fucking mosquito was caught it in the act of. Jesus Christ. I love that when you catch it red-handed. Literally red-handed. No one 100 years ago could have predicted what was going to happen in 2018. No one could have predicted what's going to happen in 2019. No one. I mean, absolutely no one. No one 200 years ago could have predicted what's the internet. No one 400 years ago could have predicted the Industrial Revolution. No one. So I'm incredibly skeptical of people trying to predict the future, because essentially what you're doing is you're taking what we have today and then watching it advance. You're not taking into account the unlimited amounts of change that could happen. You know what I mean? Imagine the difference in society, 13,000 years ago versus 12,500 years ago versus 10,000 years ago. You essentially go from ancient hominid hunter-gatherers to, agriculting, I don't know if that's a word, humans, Homo sapiens, practicing agriculture. You know what I mean? It's just unfathomable, the change. Unfathomable. And the world we see around us. And we cannot predict the future. In my opinion, the fact that a lot of public intellects are claiming robots and AI to be the future is because right now the worldview we have about our own body is that of it being a machine. It's mechanical. It's a technical, and even Yuval Harari talks about this in *Sapiens*. He says that the grand narrative at the moment is that we view, in medicine, in academia, in science, the human body as a machine. We don't, spirituality is not the frontier of what we'd, define a genius as, or what we define a public intellect as. It's not under spiritual criteria. It's under I say intellectual, that's associated with academia because of the way the word has, transformed into. I was going to say tainted, but then that would then me be projecting my own fantasy onto the world. So I would say don't listen. Oh, you can listen to Homo Deus, but he paints the world very bleakly. And I would say that he does that because we live in a world which is clinging onto our ancient roots. We're clinging onto art and music. We're clinging onto tribalism. That's why politics has become so polarized. We're clinging onto these things because now it's all we have, because we're worried that before we were worried we were nothing but an animal, and we were trying to make up stories about how, other things created us. We're not animals. I'm a divine being made by God living in the flesh of a mere human. Although now we're worried that we're just mere robots. We're just mere we can create robots. We're worried we're mere robots. So obviously the pessimism, associated with is, in my mind, I think that is going to be the death of us. Maybe not the whole race, but it's definitely peddling a lot of intellects into believing that we are just mere robots, and of course the society then believes that as well. That's a big one. That's a big turkey. That's a big old turkey. So yeah, I mean, have a think about that. I don't think we're mere robots. We are not. How could we be mere robots? How, we of course, it's so human. Oh look, there's another turkey up there. As a human, like, the idea that we always think we understand the world. And when we think we're not animals, we of course understand the world through the Bible, or we of course understand the world through the Quran, or we of course understand the world some other way. And then as soon as we invent robots and stop praising the holy texts, of course we understand the world through science. Of course we understand the world through that way now. So, of course, it's there's never been a point in time where humans haven't thought they had the answers. So, of course now we think we've got now we've got the answers, and the answer is that we're very mechanical, and then we're going to create something mechanical, and because we are mechanical, we're going to create something that's mechanical, and that mechanical force is going to be smarter than us. This is the singularity. This is AI. We're going to create something that is exactly like us, but better, because apparently we are capable of creating something that's better than ourselves, even though we don't even understand ourselves, not the slightest. So that's my skepticism about the modern day academia, modern day intellects trying to predict the future. Yeah.